Thanksgiving next week and what the CDC has done in terms of updating its guidance about travel, now saying essentially do not travel for the holidays. What advice would you have to people who have perhaps already made plans to travel and see family and friends during the holidays?
So, this can be a tough message to hear, but yesterday the CDC was excruciatingly clear. There have been 1 million new cases in the last 7 days in the United States. So the advice right now is celebrate Thanksgiving with your household family members. And you know what? I know that can be really hard to hear, but I think most Americans have been thinking about Thanksgiving as, a month-long process that started with planning up to 2 weeks ago and has had this element of be ready for surprises, pretty
Yeah.
much what all 2020 has been, right? Make plan A, but then plan B, C, and D as well. So I think for most people, we're at plan C, where perhaps we had wanted to travel, we had wanted to do some face-to-face connection with friends and family, but it only takes one glimpse at the numbers. I think it is very, very concerning, the number of cases. And the fact of the matter is with this vaccine news, we have to remember that this one holiday this year, we don't want to see such spread that we would have a result where we just don't have specific family members with us next year.
You know what? That is the exact way that I'm thinking about it. I spoke to my grandmother this week. She's 98 years old. Usually I spend Thanksgiving with her. We're not seeing her this year. And basically what I said was we are skipping it this year so we can celebrate in a few months when we are outside of this pandemic, when we have the vaccine. So I think that's a really good way to think about it. And I'm glad that the vaccine news has happened over the last couple of weeks because it does provide this sort of end date to a lot of people that I don't think we had over the last few months. Doctor, I just want to end talking masks here because the CDC also updated its data on mask wearing. Does the CDC encourage mask mandates?
So the CDC does not specifically talk to mask mandates. Of course, that's a state by state decision. And in some areas, it's even more localized in the decision making. But I think the thing that we continue to know about masks is, again, they work best when everybody's wearing them. And so this idea of requiring mask usage, particularly in public spaces, of course, that are enclosed, right? Any type of indoor space, but also even in the outdoor spaces right now, given the amount of community transmission, if you cannot be 6 feet apart, you definitely need to have a mask on. Just don't risk it, right? So we can get these new cases that are occurring so quickly under control a bit here. So I think the CDC, respects all of the state level decision making that's going on. I think people in the states that do not currently have mask mandates are vocal both for and against them. But I think that the idea is to look across the country and realize that these mask mandates have been showing some good results in states that have them. Of course, they're not acting alone. A lot of these states are also implementing other mitigation strategies. And it is a dial, right? When you can turn it one way or another based on some additional mitigation strategies versus lightening up a little bit. And if we can be a little bit more flexible, the same way we're being flexible with our Thanksgiving plans in order to turn that dial back and forth, I think we'll be able to be a little bit more nimble as a country to respond.
I think flexibility is the word of 2020. Dr. Carrie Altoff, epidemiologist at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Thanks so much for coming on Quick Take today. We appreciate your time.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quicktake now for insight in an instant.